Tell me when we gonna wake up. I wanna know when we gonna make a change. Gotta be strong. Some things we can't change. Tell me when we gonna wake up. I wanna know when we gonna make a change. You gotta be strong. Some things we can't change.
Testing. Hey, Ruben.
Yeah, you're on.
We don't have no mic volume.
Yes, you do.
We got mic volume?
You got mic on? I can't hear myself. Welcome to the Man in the House video show here at HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. I'm your host, Clarence Holden. Welcome you this week for our men's conference, Raising the Next Generation. All right, so we're going to introduce our host, Deacon Lee Webb.
Hello.
All right, and Deacon Brown.
Hi, y'all.
Okay, and we have our guest, Victor Thomas.
How's everybody doing?
All right. Once again, we have another guest, Lewis Williams.
How's everybody?
And our future host, Jermaine.
How y'all doing?
And Marquise.
Peace and blessings.
All right, so we're going to ask Deacon, anybody that want to open up in prayer, we can go ahead and open in prayer. So we want to bless this conference right now.
Okay. So all eyes bowed, all eyes closed. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, Lord. We give you glory, honor, and praise. And Lord, as we go into this time, we just ask that you be with us, Lord. Just come and consume our hearts and our minds and our thoughts, Lord, and instruct us just like you did with Peter, Lord, that you instructed him and he became your disciple. Lord, we're asking you to disciple us, Lord, that your will be done and your kingdom come today and starting and from this day forth, Lord. So we just thank you for just hearing our prayer, and thank you, Lord, for just keeping your promises, and thank you, Lord, for your time being with us, Lord. And we just praise you today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right. We are in week number 2, session number 2. We're in session number 2, Raising the Next Generation. We have a group of young men who have a program, who has their program that they're going to talk to us about, and then we're going to make comments as to how we can help them achieve what they're trying to do and be a blessing to them. We're also want to deal with the generational intelligence, meaning that baby boomers, millennials, all these people who are of the same household are not talking to each other. They mean the same thing, but they say it differently. So one of the things we want to try to do is to bridge the gap between the baby boomers, the traditionals, the millennials, and the gentiles. We want to be able to have them understand why God is important. And they don't understand the things that they can't see. So, Q, you want to go in?
Yeah, would love to speak on that subject also. Appreciate everything you're doing, Deke, and everybody that actually came here. We want to touch on the basis of understanding that what's actually happening with us as people of mankind. We're not being in tune. Everything is being detached. So from everybody that's actually living in this world today, in society, we got to realize that we got to actually come back to ourselves and not just come together. So one of the tools that we actually want to use is the law of attraction. A lot of us don't understand that coming up inside of the system that we actually was raised in, which is the poverty system, we got to realize that we have to be educated enough to know what's going on. that we are in the system. So with NBC, what we're actually doing is we want to teach and incorporate these type of entities inside of the people. We live inside of a corporation, one of the strongest corporations in the world, United States of Corporations, which is America. Approximately about 465 million Americans at large. So we want to understand that we actually have a duty. It's a disservice for us not to actually do these things as people, being as though we're at the top of the food chain. So with My Beloveds Can, NBC, from the moment you hear My Beloveds Can, it's basically speaking that positive tune that we need in our mindset as the youth in the future and the people as right now. It speaks it into existence, and that's what actually was one strong tool of the law of attraction. So if we teach the children how to understand and educate themselves on where we're living at, which is in a corporation, and we teach them the tricks and the trades to the situation that people are actually doing a lot of things out of money, these things that actually come with using the tool of the law of attraction. So we want to separate one of the things that we actually call money and one of the things we actually call access. That's one of the things we want to do. But our main objective is to get a hold of over 1 million youths. When I say youths, we're talking about people that's younger than us 5 hours ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 days, 5 years. We want to get a real core touch volume into their souls and have them understanding that in order for us to operate for the future as people, we have to operate at our highest level of frequency on a positive note. Once we actually learn that and teach them that, then we actually will see a different change in life. We won't say it's going to be a triumphant difference, a minute difference. It's going to be a difference on a positive note. And we all know what positivity does to us as people, especially being the top of the food chain, which is mankind. We know what the ability, what that does. So just teaching them the difference between money and access, that's really a strong point. And I'm winging them off the opiates is, we know what the system is doing. If we don't know what the system is doing, then we actually have to stay woke with them. So we have some ways of actually going about that. Me and my brother Jermaine, we come from poverty. We come from, a stage in dark places in our life where as though we're not just telling and going out and say, we have to do this. We don't focus on the problem. We're part of the solution. And the solution is going to be one of the situations where it has to take affirmative action. And we have to lead by example through our actions, first and foremost. So that's what we want to do with the youth. And that's not what we want to do. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to speak those things in existence. And that's what the things we're going to actually bank on right now.
Absolutely. And we understand the importance of, the type of program, the NBC program that we have. We understand that the youth is growing up in a time period and an age where as though they're not getting the proper instruction, nor are they getting the proper guidance. So with them not getting the proper instruction and the proper guidance, they're prone to making the same mistakes as, all of us have made before in our lives. And we want to be, like my brother said, part of the solution. So, they don't go and make the same mistakes that we made. And to be able to, come from those situations and rose from those situations, who else better is it for us to go back and reach them, to go back and teach them and show them, like, if we went through this and we survived and we came through it, then you can do the same thing. And I believe that's what the kids are missing, leaders, positive leaders. And as, as young adults and older adults, we can't be afraid to reach them, to talk to them. We can't look at them and judge them. At the end of the day, we have to love them. We have to show, what we have in our heart. We have to have that compassion. Because, God had that same compassion on us. Why not for us to have the same compassion with them?
Absolutely.
So, it's important that we get out there, we reach them, we talk to them, we mentor them. We show them that it's a different way of just living their lives, running the streets, selling drugs, killing, dealing, whatever the situation may be. We want to show them that it's a better way. So, with that, all of us hand in hand, we can work together in perfect harmony, to give our testimonies and to show them how we brought this house or how we brought this car or how we started this business or whatever situations that we're involved in. We're able to show them. We're able to give them that experience that no one told us, that no one taught us. So, that's what the program is basically about, building them up spiritually, mentally, physically, And, you know, we want to show them how to use their time better, you know, because time management is important in this hour, in this season, you know, because you can get a job, but if you're getting a job, all you're doing is building up somebody else's company. Why not start your own business, whereas though you able to have that time, you able to have that leisure, you know, because we don't want to raise up workers, we want to raise up entrepreneurs in this hour, in this season, because we all have great ideas. So if we're able to get them to think, you know, and use their creative, you know, their creative mind, you know, their abilities, you know, and understand their passions and help them grow their passions, I believe, you know, that's what it's all about. We
Absolutely.
have to, we have to be able to give back.
Absolutely. So that's what that's one of the main core ways that NBC is going to actually make a big difference on mankind today and society, is actually attacking that situation with the youth, being able to make that transition, being able to cross over from that dark place to that light place, giving them sight, giving them a sense of hope, giving them a sense of knowing them that they have an ability. And one of the main things we want them to all realize is that one of the biggest blessings that we all have is that we are all different. You know, my mom used to always tell me when I was younger, like, never try to be nobody else because everyone is different. No one is like you. So just knowing that is no one, like you already are a one-to-one. So that's one of the special things that I feel like a lot of the youth doesn't know. A lot of people today don't know, just as in general. You know, a lot of people will like to envy and mimic and mock and, you know, different things. Right. And sometimes that becomes their reality. Because, once again, that's why it's so important to understand what the law of attraction is, which meaning is anything that you think you can put into existence.
Right.
Rather it's positive, negative, you can put it into existence because it came from a thought process.
Right.
And if the mind wasn't able to think it, to seek and to search, it wouldn't be able to appear.
Right.
So that's the reason why we still want to use that same tool, but we don't want to actually give them that same message, which meaning we could tell them to do something positive with it, or we could tell them to do something negative with it. And 9 times out of 10, we would love to be more productive and not constructive.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's what we want to do with, you know, as far as, and explaining to them that we come from the same situations.
That's right.
You know, it's not like we just preaching to them. You want to sit down, we can have a talk about certain things. We, you know, if you want to go over the, you know, my past experiences, my present experiences, you know, our past situations, we still might be paying for them to this day in our presence, which is going to apprehend our future. That's the reason why it's important for us to tap into the individuals that have it, but they don't have the resources. They don't have the information. They don't have the people to see. If I can't show you how to do something, we can't show them as a unit how to do something totally different and get the same outcome, just not in the worst conditions, then we're doing a disservice.
That's right. That's right.
And you know, being here as us, as the people that we are knowing ourselves to be, you know, stand up, straightforward individuals. You know, that's not something we're accepting for to do a disservice.
That's right.
So that's what we actually here for NBC. You know, my beloveds can, that, you know, and that's what we actually want to tell them first and foremost. You know, love is an action word. It's a verb. And I tell people they shouldn't use that word, you know, loosely like that. They should show it before they use it, and that's the real meaning of it. So we want to show them love, and that's the main ingredient, you know. And we're going to do that through our actions, and walk amongst the people. You know, when they get on a chance to hop on a horse, they could go ahead and ride their horse. Also, it's theirs. You know, it belongs to them. So that's what we actually want to teach them through different activities and so forth. Proper etiquette, let them know, you know, where they came from, where they are today, where they stand at with themselves, and help them find their inner self. You know, mind, body, and spirit, they all could come together, but we could all be living in the same house and looking out a different window.
Amen. There you go.
That's what we actually want to sit here and put together and continue to put together. And we want to actually show our token of appreciation to everybody that made it out today.
Yeah, we appreciate
everybody
you
that's
guys.
actually out here listening, and any type of input. If we get anybody to call in and so forth from that nature, everybody's working hard around the clock right now. So we're gonna continue to keep pushing hard and keep everything going, keep everything coming, be more productive
That's right. Keep
as
it
much
very
as possible.
positive.
You
Absolutely.
know, my brother right here, he's like half man, half amazing. He he probably, I don't know how many 16s he just put in, and that's just him just crawling. He crawled up here. So I'm not just saying that because he's my brother. I'm saying that because I really witnessed it. So I couldn't take nothing away from a stat. and a fact. And that's an actual stat. And what made it the stat was the time and the effort that, what he put in that situation. So if this was the NBA right now, he going on 70, y'all. He got 70 points
Absolutely.
right now, 2 fouls, but the numbers is doing swell. And we just actually happy, prideful enough to come up here to tell the world, if the world is out there listening, which I know they are, that NBC is going to make a different impact on the world
Absolutely. And
by any means necessary.
That's right. Because we give our word, and our word is our bond, and that's what we stand on as men. If we say something, we got to own up to it.
Right.
We can't
Amen.
be living with broken promises or say
Right.
we're going
Right.
to do this or say that. Nah, that's not the reality of it.
Right.
You give somebody a word, you got to stand on it. Don't matter, how long I worked or whatever the case may be is a sacrifice because we know it's a greater gain and, God giving us the ability to do it, then why not?
Absolutely.
Like you said, it'll be a disservice. And, what we're trying to do is just keep continuing to grow, keep continuing to grow the program, keep continuing to stand in the gap and be the reach. And, give hope to the hopeless.
Right.
Because, nobody's perfect.
Right.
We're not judging. Nobody's perfect. We all have opportunities. We all have 24 hours in a day. It's
Right.
just about being productive with those 24 hours in a day.
Right.
So, we're just, we're going to keep praying, keep pushing. And, and you guys want to say anything, you guys want to chime in on any suggestions.
Any questionnaires, in that shape, way, form, we
anything that
willing
can
to.
help.
Yeah.
And, we're open, because we're students as well. You guys, are older than us, so we love to sit amongst men, who have great wisdom and, and work in perfect harmony. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So if there's anything you guys want to chime in and say, referring to anything, we're open to it.
Absolutely.
Brothers, I just want to say I hear a lot of positive stuff that you guys are, speaking, and in that respect also, when you, Jermaine, you talked about building kids up, and you mentioned spiritually, because I believe that's the foundational nature of anyone. You basically everything that we see here came from the unseen world or the spiritual world.
Absolutely.
So if you're talking about building kids up spiritually, look, with that alone, I think that's the main ingredient. That you guys are the fact that you're coming from that side there. I'm saying that you guys got something started, man.
Appreciate that.
I haven't. One of the other questions I want to ask you, you say NBC. What was that acronym stands for?
My beloveds can.
Oh, NBC.
Yeah, MBC.
M.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
yes,
all right, all right.
yeah,
My.
MBC. Yeah,
Right.
My beloveds can.
Okay, great.
NBC.
Great. So in at the program itself, where are you guys located generally right now? Is it generally in Trenton?
Trenton, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually aiming for everything to start out of the capital of the state of New Jersey,
Okay.
which is Trenton, New Jersey.
Right.
So we're actually aiming for everything to be ground up from that perspective and that sector, due to the nature of the high volume of activity that's going on
Right.
now on a negative note and on a positive note. So
lot of
see, the
great
thing
things
about it is, in that area also, not only is historical,
Right.
but it also has a sense of it has its turmoil right now.
Right.
So it's going through its transition.
Absolutely.
Before something gets real great, it's like it goes through its spill.
Look,
So, and that's life.
I would cut out the negative what you say there, because look, in anything and everything that's a start, right? You're gonna go through ups and downs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you know what? You don't look at the downs. Basically, use the downs to build up the ups.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So now another question I wanted to ask you guys. So in terms of the program, when you say you're reaching youth, is there a age range in that you guys are targeting to?
Well, when we say the youth, we're not just talking about just for instance, like 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
We're talking about mankind. Anything like if you were up here,
Yeah.
everybody up here is NBC. Everybody else, they
Okay,
didn't.
all right, gotcha.
Everybody just didn't know it, and it wasn't introduced to them.
Right.
So we are what we are before we are what we are.
Okay. Cool.
That's right.
If that makes sense at some time.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's the oldest person up here, all the way down to the youngest person, from the infants, because at a certain point in time, when you're at a certain age, from like about 3 to 5 or 1 to 3, it's a
Right.
window of information that we actually perceive as human beings at the sponge moment. Whereas though, there's no reason why we're not going to actually install that into them.
That's right.
Right.
At
I
that,
mean,
that learning stage. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, anyone from every
Yeah,
The,
because
the reason why I was asking that question, because I heard you guys brought up some real interesting points in terms of hearing, meaning the system that we and I'm not sure. I know you probably wasn't just referring to y'all. I think it's everybody
absolutely
that we were brought up in a age of miscommunication,
right,
Absolutely.
right,
and an age of deception actually.
right.
So basically, the thing is, in terms of unlearning,
right,
right? Most of the stuff that we've you know,
Became
some of us is
accustomed to.
Right.
exactly
Absolutely.
and overcome and
That's
try
right.
to build a pathway for the youth. That's why I was asking in terms of you know, the age range. Was you
Of
looking
age.
at teens or you know, stuff like that?
Yeah, but you know, from just an adolescent stage, where as though you're able to comprehend and you're able to understand.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
as far as 13 to 28,
Yeah.
know, it's not. We're not putting a limit on nothing because we all need help,
That's
and then
true.
we all could be taught. So. I'm 35,
Right.
and I'm looking at you guys like, yeah, I still can learn something from you.
Oh,
so it's-
right.
Yeah, so-
We all could learn
yeah,
something.
Absolutely.
And-
And then,
yeah, that's great.
yeah, and then being that I work in a prison system right now.
Right.
I'm actually seeing them coming in
Yo,
younger and younger.
you
but
got-
I'm seeing the less guidance and the less tools that they have. So
Right.
they're coming in and they're repeatedly coming back. So now it's like, hold on now. Who's going to help bring change, or who's going to
There you
bring
go.
a stop to this? Now, who's going to bring awareness to this? Because, to see brothers go through certain things, it's
Yeah.
like, they at their worst stages, that their worst place in life,
Yeah.
other than death.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
to help rebuild them and bring them back into a society where as though they can be productive. That's what it's about. We have hearts, we care. You
you
gotta
go.
have a passion for certain things, and you gotta just want to see that change. Just to, not saying we gonna save the world, because if we want to, if we can, we could. If we can save one, if we can save two,
Look,
if we
you
can
know
save
what?
three.
I have a saying, man, and for me, it's always, you know what? You shoot for the stars. If you hit the
Absolutely.
moon, that's good too.
That's
Absolutely.
right, that's right. That's
Absolutely.
Right, that's right.
And that's a great thing that you said that also with the age bracket, because one of the things that that always come to mind when a person says like something on age, I always think about when we talk about age, like we should also remember when we're speaking on the subject, physically, mentally, or spiritually.
There you go.
What age on that
Yep,
note?
yep.
Because we could be a certain age physically
Yeah.
and still not have that information that a person that's younger or older
Mentally,
might have,
yeah.
or on any type of way, shape, form, and that type of subject. So that's great that you asked that. Also, I just want to let everybody out there know that we actually aim for all mankind, and just coming together as one. Because right now in this day and age right now, whereas though we gotta realize that we are sitting amongst people that's like we're detached.
Okay.
Like people are detached. Like I'm sitting next to you right now, and there's nothing wrong with me picking up a cell phone and texting you instead of talking to you.
That's true.
So that gap,
Yeah.
that small minute gap, it leaves room for the technology part to what we create
Yep.
to destroy us.
Yep.
So we have to be mindful of what we actually putting out there and creating, and understand that we are detached because we detached ourselves, and it's that important for us to put it back together. So when we're looking at it like, well, is we going to be a part of the problem or the solution?
Now you mentioned something to me that is a key essence. I mean I work in technology.
Right.
And
What's the chances of that, right?
and the thing about it is, I mean, every day I go to work, and what do I see people, everybody. And this is the culture that we live in today,
Right.
right? Now, even though I work in technology, I basically, today, I can tell you the truth, I carry still a flip phone.
Right.
I don't, everyone in my household has smartphones and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't deal with that. I mean, they laugh at me at work, but you know what? Me, look, you can laugh at me all I want.
That's right.
Right.
It doesn't make the fact that you're laughing at me, it doesn't mean anything to me,
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
right? And you see, it is hard though, And I could understand, because I see my daughter, I see my son. I mean, you know, because they ain't got the most up-to-date phone. They,
Right.
you know, they got, they teasing me, they blasting me or whatever like
Right.
that. And you know what? I feel bad because I give in, because my wife, she's
Right.
she's the arm twister. So she
Right.
twists my arms. Like, the
Absolutely.
next thing you know, and
That's
you
right.
fall into that trap, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
And the thing is, once we fall into that culture, right, and that's the culture that it's a hard thing to fight.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, okay, what solutions now do you come up with? I mean, could we to come up with to sort of
That's great that you.
Get-
That's great that you said that.
Hold on, let me say one thing. You
Go ahead,
know,
man.
one thing, you know, what they say, you know, where to hide something from a black man at is to put it in a book. How many
Right.
kids are actually reading books?
none?
Absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah, so to be able to, you know, bring that reading structure back, read for a half an hour a day, to be able to give something a tool and, you know, to stimulate your mind to a different place. Because, you know, that's one of the things that we don't do. We'll
Right.
look for information on the phone, we'll pick up a phone, we'll do this and that, but we won't pick up a book.
Right.
And, you know, being, after reading a lot, you know, these last years,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of the best things that could have ever, you know, stimulated my mind to a degree, because I'm able to understand things more. I'm learning things that I didn't know, and also, you know, I'm taking that time out to have peace within,
Right.
to have peace with myself.
Right. So that's an activity also that a lot of us are losing out on. What the
Yeah.
technology is doing is opening up a set of dopamines that you don't get when you actually are reading. So what happens is when we don't read a lot and we just watch TV or we, you know, listen to music, we're not exercising that muscle from your eye, your pineal gland, all the way down to, you know, your left or your right hemisphere part of your brain. We're not exercising that reading muscle no more. So what's happening is naturally it's dumbing down a part of our system and it's detaching us.
You just hit the nail on the head. You just hit the nail on the head. You see, this thing in terms of technology, yeah, I don't know if you guys know the statistics. Do you know that basically Steve Jobs himself, the creator, the former CEO of Apple,
Steve, yes.
right? Do you know that this man doesn't allow his kids to own any type of this tech that everyone's using?
Yeah, I actually read the autobiography on that, and it was actually it was interesting. I had I thought about it, and I was appalled about it. Because
Appalled?
I was appalled because nobody else was really, you know, looking at it like it's like the banks and everything else, like own nothing, control everything.
Yeah.
Technology, we created it. Like we're creating the technology out there, and that's part of it. As you know, we could let the best get the best of both worlds of it. It could dumb us down.
Right.
And Steve understands that.
Absolutely.
Once you do that, you don't allow the creative side of your mind to work no more.
This is the thing, what you just said in terms of dumbing down.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? If you even look at a curriculum,
Right.
curriculum in today's schools, how kids are taught, the curriculum that they're going through.
Right.
I mean, it is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, what you just said, Jermaine, earlier, what you said about the spiritual side of things, right? And
Right.
what you were just saying also about, you know, in terms of reading and basically it's stimulating. Now,
Right.
guess what? From a spiritual standpoint, right? God says, right? Be careful of the eyes what you see.
Right.
Absolutely.
See, the eyes are the gates to the soul,
Right.
right? Now, if by our initial state, our initial state, we are by, initial state, spirit.
Right.
Absolutely.
So whatever it is that comes through your eye gate,
Right.
through your ear gate, guess what? It
In you.
attaches itself to you.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like a lint ball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so this thing here, in terms of building up, you see, the Bible says there, it says, my beloved, this is Jesus talking, beloved, I pray that you prosper and be in health.
Beloved.
Beloved, there you go.
That's right.
My beloved,
That's right.
beloved,
That's right.
I pray that you be in health and prosper, even as your soul prospers.
Wow.
How is your soul going to prosper?
That's
Right.
right.
your soul prosper by hearing this word that God created
That's
to
right.
get and build up inside of you.
Right.
And let me tell you one thing, I believe all man should have a relationship with God. It doesn't matter what you follow, it doesn't, like, we're not going to say one thing is better than the next or this and that, because God gave you all choices. He gave us all choices. So, one thing about me, like you said, I didn't I didn't wake up until I had built a relationship with God. Before God, I was running the streets, doing whatever I was doing because, I had lack of knowledge. I didn't understand certain things. But once I became understanding of God, and I had a fear in my heart because I feared nothing before that. So I didn't fear a man, I didn't fear a woman, but once I had a fear of God in my heart, it opened my eyes and made me realize things to a different degree. And once my spirit got woken, it's like, hold on, now I'm awake. I can't do and entangle in the same things that I've been doing because I get a grudge in my spirit. I feel something different.
You go.
And-
The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
Wisdom.
Absolutely.
Wisdom, sir.
Right.
Right, and
Wow.
it's just
But piggybacking off of that, we have certain people who have, all of us have come through many trials and tribulations. And Victor, you want to give your testimony? This brother, God is good. This brother Victor and I are from the same neighborhood in Philadelphia.
Right.
And how, now, ain't that something?
Yeah.
And, I worked with his wife, and over the years, over 20-some years, I've been knowing this brother, but we never had the chance to intermingle. And then until yesterday, I had reached out to him at a retirement party. One of my workers retired, so I was there, and I said, man, I need your help. Could you, give me a call? Maybe you can give me, do you know anybody that can help us? So, all right, Vicky, go ahead and just tell them. But that, just tell them about what's going on. Because I'll be here tomorrow talking about how God has blessed me with people who thought it not robbery to be involved in what we're doing.
absolutely.
Definitely. First of all, I just give honor to God for just being here amongst you brothers, man.
Yes,
what
sir.
you're doing, and I think you guys are doing a great thing. And any way I can help, even after all this, so we could exchange numbers, names.
Absolutely. That's what
Absolutely.
we have to.
Yeah. So a little bit of my background. I grew up at 29th and Diamond.
Okay,
And,
Diamond.
it was 9 of us living in an apartment, 1 bedroom, and a lot of people say, when you look at what we lived in and look at the way we grew up, and you become sometimes a product of your environment.
Absolutely.
But one thing I've learned in life, man, we have choices.
That's right.
I've seen guys, mother and father was on drugs, and he became a doctor.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
we have choices. And one thing I learned in life that really stimulated me is that the fact that we have choices, man. And the word tells us, choose this day who you will serve.
That's
We
right.
have choices. In us is the will to do good and evil.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's
We all know that, right?
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
But we can choose,
That's
to
right.
do either one. And then like you were saying, young man was saying that we definitely don't beat anybody up when people make mistakes, because we all make
Yeah,
mistakes.
that's
Right.
right. That's
You know?
right.
And the biggest thing I've learned in life, is we all gonna reap what we sow.
That's
Right.
right.
We can't get around that.
Right.
But God will make a way for escape,
Absolutely.
and we can move forward.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and get out of the situations that we're in. Quick story, and then I'm gonna let you guys continue to talk. Well, anyway, grew up in North Philly, living in an apartment. My parents, my brothers was in gangs. A couple of them was shot. None of them was ever killed, but they shot people, in jail. And my dad said he was going to let me do that. But I always wanted to hang with the boys on the corners and stuff like that. And there's times I used to be on the corner, man. My mom and dad be in church. I'd be on the corner, and I know the Lord was speaking to me.
Right.
What are you doing out here?
Absolutely.
But I was with my boys. You know how you're hanging with your boys.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
Seeing cats get shot, seeing cats get stabbed, but nothing ever happened to me.
Wow.
Glory be to God.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'll never forget this, man, as long as I live. The first time I really heard the Lord speak to me. There was a pastor, and I looked up to this man tremendously. and he made a mistake in life. We're all human.
That's right.
And when he fell and made a mistake, I turned around and I said to myself, you know what, this salvation thing, this ain't real.
Absolutely.
This must be fake, man. And that's the first time I ever heard the Lord speak to me and said, do not look upon man, because
Right.
man is human.
That's
Right.
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 And he makes mistakes.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And from that day forward, man, I don't judge.
That's right.
There you go.
I try to help whoever needs
Right.
help,
There you go.
Absolutely.
because it could be me.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
right.
so we all want to help each other out. I had an
Right.
opportunity, man. I went to school, and what I mean by you reap what you sow, I've sowed bad seed and I reaped it.
Yeah, that's right.
But then I sowed some good seed and I'm reaping it now.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's right.
I had an opportunity to make some gentlemen, entrepreneurs, very wealthy in the car wash industry. And I knew a lot of NFL guys, and they were rookies in the Giants and the Eagles, and we became friends.
Okay.
And from that, we built dealerships, we built car washes, and we looking for young men that had little problems and they want a job, they
That's
want
right.
to work. Listen, when I first started out, I started vacuuming cars.
Right.
Everybody want to get here, but it takes time to get here.
Absolutely.
Wisdom,
That's right.
knowledge, understanding, education is very important, as you guys were saying.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
you know, it took time, but once I'm here. One thing about me, man, I'm here to help anybody, and I really want to help you guys as much as I can. And whatever y'all need me to do, I'm willing to be a part of it.
We appreciate that,
No
beloved.
problem.
Yes,
No
sir.
problem.
All right,
Appreciate
all
you.
right.
Appreciate
Another entrepreneur, Eric Gaskins, owns a barbershop. Eric, you want to speak?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. This is my first time being here on the radio station, and just I'm happy to be on a panel with you guys to talk about things that we can do to help inspire, motivate, and help build some of our young men and women in the community. And that's something that I've always been involved into doing. And Mr. Clarence, we talked about it numerous times over the years with trying to build programs and just sharing ideas of what we can do to help not only just make ourselves better, but just make the individuals around us better. So that's something that I try to do on a daily basis, especially with some of the young men that come in and out of our barbershop. They know to come in there, you got to have your pants up, all that
Right.
lingo that's not positive. It doesn't come inside the barbershop, and they look up to us and they respect us about that.
right.
And
That's right.
one of the things that I learned, and I'm pretty sure we all heard, you want to be the change that you want to see.
Right.
So if I don't want to see my son with his pants hanging down and him being disrespectful to his mother or women and men, I don't do it. So
Right.
so I try to be that example, and that's something that we try to do in the barbershop, and a lot of the kids respect it, and we've been able to help a lot of young men get themselves through into college, and they always come back, and they always come back and they say, yo, Mr. Eric, Mr. Gaskin, I really appreciate the time that you took to inspire me and help me grow,
Right.
and they can call me anytime, any day. We'll go bowling, or we'll go work out, or they come to the house, they'll have dinner and stuff. So I just open the doors to them and just let them know that, you can aspire to be anything. You don't have to be a rapper or entertainer. You can be a successful garbage man.
Absolutely.
You can be a
Absolutely.
successful
For
cab
sure.
driver.
Absolutely.
You can be a
Yep.
success. I have a barbershop. I work for the state of New Jersey. I have a degree in information technology. So success is what you make it. So you don't have to be those individuals that you see on TV, because that's just it's not real.
Right.
Because those things that they produce it's not real. Because when you turn off the set,
That's right.
they go back to their regular lives, just like we
That's
live.
right. It's
Right.
like a
lives.
facade.
So
It's
you
like
don't
a
have
facade.
to, so
Absolutely.
just be you, and that's what kids need to see. They need to see that they're able to be themselves, opposed
Right.
to what they see in front of them. And we are the men that they see every day.
That's
So
right.
we want them to aspire and be like us. We have to walk with our head high, and we have to speak with respect. We have to acknowledge each other, and just continue to be positive. We all run into some obstacles and some things, but shake it off, because disappointment, it comes and goes.
Absolutely.
So
That's
we
right.
just gotta just provide that encouragement for each other, just to keep moving and say, hey brother, look, I may not be able to help you like I need to, but I can give you the information.
Right.
You know, and
That's
that's
key.
what I try to teach my
That's
kids.
that's help.
That's key.
That's
the
actually
best form of help.
right.
Yeah,
You know, the
that's
information itself.
Well,
And
you
that's-
have to realize that most people think when you ask for help, you asking for money.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
And my thing has always been that for the lack of knowledge, our people perish. There's always help out there, but one of the things that we have to discuss among our peers is this generational differences.
Right.
You are asking for help, meaning inclusive. Older people may think you asking for money. So we have to bridge that gap where it's that we're asking for your time. And one of the things that I'm working on is having the baby boomers be able to give back to the next generation. Like I had retired electricians, retired policemen, retired anybody, that the younger generation that are coming forward, they can use your expertise. Sure, you can pass the police exam, you can go through the academy, but until you have been in the field and on the streets
That's right.
as a police officer, there's some things that the books or your CO, same thing in the you need that one-on-one personal relationship that'll help us not have to start from ground zero.
That's right.
Right.
That's
So
right.
we're able to elevate the next generation. And the same thing, I want the two brothers that are not here, they're in politics. And we want to be able to have an economics to show people, here's the things you got to do. He explained the whole step of being into politics and how do you get to be a man, what the responsibilities are. For the lack of knowledge, our people don't have that.
That's
And
right.
that's the
That's
thing
right.
that we do. We want the same thing, but we're in different tribes and we're speaking different languages. But we all want the same thing. We want the best for each other so that we can prosper. And, God has been good to me that in my travels around the world, I meet people who are willing to help. And saying that, I have two brothers from Philadelphia that are here today, my hometown.
Right.
And I'm going to introduce you to Lewis Williams, who's Man Makes a Mean Sandwich, folks.
How y'all doing? First of all, I want to thank the brothers and the deacon here for inviting me here this evening. And to be perfectly honest, you guys are just what I've been looking for. I knew it was coming. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know when it was coming. But this is it. And our children today are the number one thing that we really need to focus on, what these brothers are focusing on today. You know, God said that our children should pay for what our
The sins of the fathers, right.
Right. And that's what our children are doing today, it seems like. And it seems like the further we're getting away from God and taking God out of everything, the more that crime and all this other stuff is pulling our children in. And it's you brothers, I'm so thankful for it, and you Deacon, that you're making a way that we can reach down and get them.
Absolutely.
But we also got to get these parents. We got to do something to let them know that they have got to pull these kids away from these televisions. They got to get rid of these cell phones. They got to get rid of these tablets, and they got to pick up the books. And until we do it, and I always believe that no matter how bad things may get, but God always sends some people to
A
make
remnant.
things right, to pick
Always.
them up and show them the way. And I think this is it. And I'm really blessed, and I'm truly thankful for being here. And I'm here. I'm going to do everything I can do and beyond to do what is necessary to get the word out to the parents, the children, and do whatever we got to do to save our children and to provide a future
That's
for
right.
ourselves and for our children. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do
Who's
it?
going to do it?
Well,
Absolutely.
And we have to be the seed. And once again, we talk about the seed. The seed will remain a seed until it's nurtured and watered.
Right.
And to piggyback on what he's talking about, we are the water that should nourish the young seed. Because inside that seed, you look at a seed, and there's no way possible you can vision that seed can be a tree. And you look at that tree and you say, how does the chemistry and the ingredients and something so small produce something so large? And this is what I've been trying to drive into our youth, is that you have to dream, and God used His word. He spoke everything into existence.
So true.
And that's why it's so important for us to know His word and be able to command His word and be able to do His word.
That's right.
So I'm going to introduce you to one of my deacons, and this is Deacon Abdel Gordon. He's from Second Calvary Baptist Church, and I've been knowing him for quite a number of years, and he can speak for himself.
Man, I just want to thanks and give thanks to you, Deacon, and all you men who've stood up here to say what you feel you need to say to the youth, and I praise God that we have this opportunity, and you know, I don't take it lightly or take it for granted, because I know that for me, I could not have been here, you know, if it wasn't for him, it wasn't for the opportunities that he had given me. I know there's no excuse. I want to say, you know, there's no real excuse to not go out and to be the best that you can be, you know. For me, I know that I've had to train under people, to look up to people, to seek out mentors, and to study and to hone my skills, to try to make a life for myself. You know, I went to college, but I never completed college, you know, so I've had to make a business for myself, basically. And I have a condition, I have cerebral palsy. And so that's a physical condition where some would say it limits me or my abilities to do this or that. But through faith and what the Holy Spirit has done for me, and the people He's brought into my life, I've been able to overcome all these obstacles, and I'm able to do what any other man can do.
Amen, amen to that.
And I don't make any excuses for myself or for anyone else.
That's right.
Anyone can go out there with your own two hands, or one hand even, and go out there and do what needs to be done.
That's right.
You know, and you have to walk this life, you know, and walk it with integrity.
That's right.
You know, and that's, you know, a real hard thing to do sometimes, is to just be true to yourself when no one else is looking, to be true to everyone else when no one else is looking, no one else is around.
Right.
You know, that's what it's about. You know, and that's what I have to say. When you have that, when you carry that, people will seek you out, and they'll want you to work for them. You know, because they see that. You know, they want loyal people. They want people with integrity, people who will be reliable. You know, and in turn, you can then go ahead and teach other people, you know, and bring other people the knowledge that you have been, you know, brought to. And so that's where I'm at, and that's what I want to encourage all the people, young people and old people, that, you know, you have skills, you have abilities, everyone has a gift, you know, and so go out, seek it, search it, and develop it, magnify it, and multiply it, and spread it so others can find that and do the same thing.
That's right.
And you know what, to piggyback off what you just said, and that's what I teach my kids. I tell them, don't focus on the image, focus on the information.
Right.
Because once you get the information, the image is going to come.
That's
because people will look at you and they'll see it. So always focus on the information first, and the image will come.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely true.
Right. So one of the things on our last segment, we talked about, they wanted to know, one of the questions was raised about, and that was for Deacon Webb to answer this question, being 30 plus years in the penal system and retiring as a lieutenant, what do you see the image of the men coming in, and do you see a different image when they're coming back? That was one of the questions that I was asked to ask you, my brother.
Well, yes, most definitely. Now, when I say that, you're going to look at me and say, well, if that's so, then why do we pick up the newspaper and find girl raped, man killed? Every morning, every day you pick up the paper, something's wrong, right? True. But there is a difference. And it may not seem so right now, but one thing is for certain: nothing remains the same.
Okay.
And now, you're going to hear I want you to hear what I say. Once you commit a crime, you do have to pay the price for it. And it's been normally said, commit the crime, you do the time. Okay, fine. But you know what doing that time means? That time, before you can do that time, you got to go through certain phases. And that main phase you got to go through, and you will go through, whether you want to or not. You cease to be a human being. You cease to be your own. Because society have made it so. Because once you commit that crime, once you go into that jail, hit that jail system, guess what? You've had your first step in being degraded.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, they're not going to stop there. Because they're going to perform the degradation ceremony. Now, do you know what that is?
All right, we'll break it down to them.
The degradation ceremony is breaking you completely, where you no longer belong to you.
Absolutely.
All right, come on.
Okay? They're going to strip your clothes.
Right.
Now, who wants to be seen naked? No man. Right?
Right.
Even Adam or Eve, they thought they'd be okay
Right.
until their eyes was open. And when their eyes was open, they found that they were naked. And they were ashamed.
Right.
Okay, so now, but that was part of the degradation ceremony.
Yes, sir.
And the degradation ceremony started with them. And then it got to the point where they said, okay, if it worked for Adam and Eve, then it's going to work for mankind. Okay? Because, see, that's the whole purpose of degrading a person. You break a person down where they are no longer themselves. And once you get to that point, then they start putting other information into you. Okay? What they're doing now, they are reprogramming you.
Right.
Now, how do you go about reprogramming? Number one, when I was in the system, I used to have these guys coming in, some rich, some poor. Okay, but they all had one thing in common. No matter how much money they had to go through that degradation ceremony.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I right, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
And then after they do that, then we and the officers start reprogramming. How do we reprogram? Okay, when you're at home, you get up when you want to.
Right.
When you're at home, at 1 o'clock at night, if you in the bed, you want a cup of coffee, you can get up and go to your kitchen and get a cup of coffee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But in jail, you can't do that.
All right. All right.
In the jail, if they don't bring you a piece of bread, you can't get that bread.
Absolutely.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay? Now, once you go through that for a while, you're going to have a changed mind. Because nobody will live forever. Okay? So now, but see, that's what life is all about. Reprogramming. And it took ages of training and practicing before a man came up to that idea of how to rehabilitate. You can't rehabilitate something that's not there. Okay? So now if I come in knowing it all, then I'm going to leave knowing it all, right?
Right.
Thinking that way.
Thinking that way.
Thinking that way, okay?
Thinking that way.
But then once I get to the point where I can't get me a cup of coffee when I want to, that sounds crazy, don't it?
Well, on the outside, it does, because people don't understand.
And then I might be able to look through this little crackable window outside and see a little sunshine.
Right.
But then I can't enjoy that sunshine. Because if I stay looking at that window too long, somebody's going to come around and say, get away from that window.
Right.
And if you don't get away from that window, they will remove you from that window. And I don't care who you are. You can only endure so much pain.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay? And then, when pain is inflicted, enough pain inflicted, then results are going to be come forth.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
But,
my brother.
Okay, gentlemen, in the prison system now, how far wrong am I?
You're 100% right.
You're 100% right, and
All
and,
right.
and that's the thing now. But what we seeing now is the repeated. They're saying is a lot of things are being repeated. In New Jersey, they have a thing called the bail reform. So you commit a crime, or whatever the case may be, you get brought to the jail. You stay in jail for 2 days, and you go straight home. Don't matter what your crime is. So now, what rehabilitation is that becoming? Because the same people that leave in 2 days are coming right back in the next month or 2-3 weeks. So there is no programs that's set up whereas though, okay, if you're here this certain amount of time, you got to have these certain requirements for you to go back and be productive outside the world.
Come on,
Into society.
Yeah, and far as trades, they don't teach trades.
They don't.
They don't teach trades. They don't teach entrepreneurship. They don't teach certain things in there because it's a system.
Right.
And what they want you to do is keep coming within the system. So
Absolutely.
if you keep coming into the system, who are going to get paid? Them, not us.
Right.
We ain't getting paid. Nobody ain't getting paid but them. And now we building up. We're building it up, and building it up. But what are our brothers doing? Our brothers not building nothing up. They just keep continuing to go through a cycle of failure. So, if you go through a cycle of failure, you're going to think you're a failure.
Destruction.
And the mindset has to change because everything starts with the mind. If you can reprogram the way you think, you can reprogram your actions. You can shift everything by thought. Everything came as a thought. The world was created on a thought. So if you can sit there and think positivity, have positive affirmations every day you wake up, you can kind of shift your atmosphere and shift your reality because it all starts on the way you think.
Right. So then there is truth
Yes.
to the old saying.
Yes,
Reading is to the mind.
absolutely.
What exercise is to the body.
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
right. That's
Absolutely.
right. Absolutely.
But how do we get to that point in today's society with the automation and artificial intelligence?
Okay, well now the only way we're gonna get to that point now, okay, is that the entire system has to go through a change.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Okay?
not just
and,
that.
and, And the only way that's going to happen, okay, is consulting the only living book in this world.
It's,
You are absolutely 229%.
amen,
right.
amen to that.
Now, there's millions of books in this world. Out of the millions of books in this world, there is only one living book,
That's the Bible. It's,
and that is the Holy Bible.
man's basic instruction before leaving
Leaving
earth.
Earth.
Absolutely.
So true.
All right, so
You buy a new car, right? You got instrument.
Got a
you
manual.
got
Gotta
that
read it.
manual,
That's
right?
right.
buy a cell phone.
Right.
You buy that cell phone. Okay, so now don't you think man is more important than that telephone?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, and God thought so too.
That's right.
And that's why he left the manual to him.
Mm-hmm. And
Well, one,
Basic instructions
Before,
before
leaving
leaving
planet
Earth.
Earth.
okay, but see, how, you know, we see, one of the things we want to get into, we are intellectually aware of what needs to be done. My mission is, how do we implement something that we get out there to the people that, in each generational level, to understand the same thing that is needed. Right now, like you were talking about earlier, they're dumbed down and they're processionary puppets. They're following somebody else.
D.
Well, now, you know, right now.
Nah, go ahead.
But see, right now,
When you get Rev started up, come on, Diddy.
that's what's happening here right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
see, man has gotten to the point now where the only thing that is important to them is the almighty dollar. Okay? But that's fine. Without that almighty dollar, you're going to miss out on a whole lot of stuff. But see, don't sell your soul for that almighty dollar.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
Okay? But this is what's happening today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even in our government system,
Yeah.
they are not doing what they are supposed to do.
Right.
Even in the prison system, they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
They go through part of it. They make sure they degrade you enough, and then they try to reprogram you. But then when they start reprogramming you, what they don't use, they give you all kinds of books to read. But how many enforce that living book?
Right.
We got 10 minutes for a wrap up.
All right.
All right.
Well, give me 2 minutes. Okay, guys, I've been hearing some great, information here. And one thing that came to my mind here is this. I've seen over the years, right? I've been through the tech boom, right? I've been through the great crash and
208.
where we are right now.
Right.
And here's what I'm seeing, right? Now, every year since we've been going through this country, this nation's economy has been going through booms and busts, booms and busts, booms and busts, right? What's been happening and what has happened and brought us to this point right now where we have a country, a nation, where it used to be the fact where a man could have been able to go to high school and you could have actually gone out and do a trade, right? And actually earn a living good enough for you to, have a wife and raise a family and on a decent living. What we got today? All of the jobs, the manufacturing jobs that this country was the top of the food chain concerning manufacturing, concerning building things. What do we build now? What do we make now?
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Now,
Pharmaceuticals.
exactly. Everybody and their grandma. Everybody now. Nobody wants to do the work anymore. Everybody want to be Biggie style, big wig, big Willie, and make big money. Like you said, start from up here. Don't do no work.
Put no groundwork in.
Right? So, here's what I'm looking at. We got a wealth of jobs that are there. Guess what? Nobody wants them.
That's true too.
You got a wealth of men who are going in and out of a revolving door system that basically this government is too detached to even look at, right? So you got electricians, you got plumbers, you got linemen. Do you know how much a lineman makes?
Well, that's because they don't. That's because what that dumb box that we look at every day, it doesn't show that.
That's what I'm.
Doesn't show
That's-
that.
That-
So
Right.
if you see rappers, musicians,
Exactly,
basketball,
exactly.
football players,
That's
that's
what
all
you
you
gonna
respect.
That's
That's
what.
right.
That is what I'm.
right.
That's exactly
That's
what
right.
I'm about to get to.
Right.
The fact that we got, well, our eyes are too plastered on this nonsense, and I could do this, I could do that, and I could do nothing without I could make some money without doing nothing, right? That's it. We're distracted. We're distracted, and you know what? We need to get our eyes off of this distraction and come back and zone. And basically zone our kids, zone, the information into the right funnel, and that's where we go back to the goal.
But
Well, that's the, go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is, you're 100% right, because that's what it does. It stops your lack of imagination. It stops
There you
your
go.
lack of creativity.
Yeah.
And no wonder why Steve Jobs didn't want to give his son one, because he understands that your imagination.
Not only Bill Gates too.
But they understand what we don't understand.
Right.
What we do, our dollar goes so fast up out of our community.
Yep.
It's a shame.
Yep.
But what they do, they preserve it and then they create it because they make it a cycle where their
Recycle it.
dollar keeps
It's
cycling.
called wealth preservation.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So that's sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I lost
But that's
my
what
train
we,
of
but
thought.
that's what we have to do,
Yeah,
and one of the things
absolutely.
that by starting this, taking the show and taking it from Man in the House, from a spiritual based thing that we were doing, we saw that, and most of you who received the text that I sent out, we're in a state of emergency. We've been in a state of emergency for years, and our young people are dying. And you look at the rate of the fatalities. That means that the men aren't producing children; they're gay, and females are gay. So that's a whole generation that's not even going to be produced. So, and the generation that we have now, they're dumbed down, and so our problem is how do we reach the parents? Because no matter what we do and have the kids, when we go to the retreat, the kids come back home. Let me give you just one example, and I'll let you. One of the kids found out he got up in the middle of the night because the person who Norman Harrison was my cousin. He would start cooking at 4 o'clock in the morning. This young man woke up to bacon, eggs, and biscuits, and all. Came downstairs. He said, "Wow." He said, "I ain't never smelled food in my house." But the point of it is, he went back home and told his mother. Can you imagine what his mother told him? She said, "If you want to smell bacon and eggs and food like that, you better go back up to that retreat." The young man stopped coming to the retreat because we presented something that he could not duplicate when he got back home. So we have to be careful when we say these things because we're dealing with a hurt generation. So every solution may be intellectually sound in our minds. We have to get down to the level of where that individual is at so we don't hurt them when they can't reproduce. It doesn't do any good to go to school and you come back home and your household is in chaos.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I agree with you with, Mr. Clarence, because we had a program some years ago that we were running at Granville Charter School on West State Street before it closed down. And every Saturday, I held a reading class for kids, and I was teaching from the book Letters from a Young Brother from Hill Harper, and they enjoyed that every Saturday. We had breakfast, we had men that look like us come in and speak that were lawyers, doctors, police officers, cab drivers, garbage men,
Right.
exec. And one of the young men came to me, and I'll never forget. He said, Mr. Eric, I really appreciate this because this is a fun time for me, and I enjoy coming every weekend because when I go home, I don't get this.
Wow.
So when they don't receive that at home and they receive it there, like their reality is at home.
That's
So
right.
that's just a fantasy that they get away
Right.
to.
Right.
So and it's a shame that something happened with the funding and the program stopped.
Right.
Because now it's like you're looking at, well, that wasn't real. I'm going back to my reality. So
That's right.
so I think one of the things that we need to do in our community, we don't have any institutions left. The only institution we really have is the church.
Right.
So we need to start putting our money together
right.
and have our own credit union.
Right.
Right.
Our own
That's
credit.
right.
We need
Right.
to get back to that so we
Right.
can
Right.
continue with these programs for these kids
Well,
so it can be.
that's
Right.
the same thing. The program, and one of the things that I would really wore me down is the lack of funding for what we do. Nobody funds help me, and I want to thank Deacon Brown here for his donation. He gave us $200 for the basketball camp to get us from 5 days a week to go down to South Jersey. So we got $200 from him.
Thank
And we
you,
got
thank
other
you.
stuff.
Thank
So,
Thank
but
you.
what happens is that we don't take care of our own,
No.
and that's the thing. That's why all these programs die out, because men get out there and put their household. They get in. They take time away from their families. They sacrifice, and we're looking to the sky for God. But the promised land is here. Heaven is right here on earth, and we have to do those things. And this is the hardest thing with us, is to get the parents to understand that God is going to hold them responsible for the things that they do.
You know what, Deke? That is true. But you're saying it to deaf ears, to people who may not know of God,
Right,
who don't fear God,
right,
because they don't know of a God who loves and who is a provider.
right.
You see, all the stuff that we're talking about right now, I've heard it, I've been through it, I've done it, all of these programs. And here's one thing, I love eschatology.
Okay.
That is a study,
The study
of the biblical end
end
times.
Right.
And I think the times that we're in right now is one of the most exciting times.
So true.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
If you, in the book of Daniel, there's this statue, the statue of Daniel, right, which actually dictates the time, the sign of the times. And the sign of the times right now, most prophecy I've heard and actually stated is that we are in the very toes
The two.
of the statue,
Yes, sir.
right? And the very toes of the statue, because first there was the gold age, there was the bronze age, the silver age, and then the iron age, that was the Roman Empire and stuff like that. And now we're in the very toes, where it's like artificial and we're in the toes of it. And now, any guys deal with medicine here? No? All right. There's another name for the toes, right? There's a medical name term for the toes called digits. We're in the digital age. So that proves that we are in the very last days. Now, all the stuff we're talking about money and stuff like that, guess what? Money is one of the biggest distractions that the enemy is going to be using against us.
Definitely.
If you guys look at today, at the money supply and everything, and we could go on and talk, and I'm trying to keep this real short, but the thing is this, money, do you guys ever notice that when you go to a store and you get something and you go back and you try to bring it back, what do they try to give you? Do they give you back your cash that you gave them? No.
Exchange.
They try to give you a card. Like, what good is a card to me? I gave you cash. Give me back my cash. You know? Why? Because it is easier to keep track of digits and for them to keep track of you. And this is what we're going towards. This is what we're heading towards. All of this stuff that we've been talking about. If you look in history, right? And even when Martin Luther King, look at when did they assassinate him? When he started talking about wealth equality. When he started talking about that. Oh no, we can't have that. We cannot have that. No, we can't have. So you see, the thing is this. We could talk about building our own banks and stuff like that. Guess what? They got that under control already.
Absolutely.
If you've seen over the years, they have taken over, they have basically, and I'm saying the
Governments.
no. There's an organization called the Fed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it has anything to do with our federal government?
No,
No,
not
it
at
doesn't. Guys, I won't say any more because I might get in trouble. The thing is this. I'm telling you guys that there is, in terms of wealth preservation, guess what? We have been bamboozled, and no matter what, they got us on lock. But there is hope. There is hope. And the hope actually is in the word. It's for us to be knowledgeable, to know what is going on so that we won't be like fighting, bringing a switchblade to a gunfight.
Amen to that. All right, Victor, if you want to have any closing remarks, we're going to come around for everybody to have a closing remark, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Listen, I just enjoyed myself.
But I'm
First
glad,
time being with you guys, it won't
like
be
I
my
said,
last.
man, it's always a blessing to when men take time out of your schedule. And I know you're a busy man and a busy brother, but we give. I'm quite sure these young brothers will appreciate the fact that you showed up, Eric. I appreciate you. Eric has been there. He's my barber. He's been working in the field for a long time, and I'm so glad you were able to make this session. I'm a person who, I talk a lot, but I also produce a lot.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to see exactly what I was talking to you about. And Deacon Brown here, he came to our church and sat down, and I had the wherewithal to talk to him. And when y'all guys come back, his son plays the organ, and you got to hear his story. I'm not going to get into his story because he tackled a system that you wouldn't even believe, and it also has to do with childhood development and stigmatizing, all these kinds of things. And everybody know Deacon Webb. And Lou, you want to give your first time coming, and what do you have to say about this thing that we're doing here?
Well, I'd like to say I'm really glad I came. I'm proud I came, and I'm ready to roll my sleeves up and go to work. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm ready, and I'm back.
All right.
I just want to say I enjoy myself as always, and I just want to encourage people to, be when you see a stranger, that God puts everyone in your way for a purpose.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing that's done by mistake or accident.
Right.
So stay filled up, and all this money here, we're here for a purpose. He put us all here together for a purpose. So I just want to encourage everyone that whenever you meet someone, even people who just come to them in a state of love, because that's all that we really have to give. So.
That's right. And I want to, thank you guys on the behalf of the NBC program, my brother Q.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for coming out and, showing, talking, giving your hindsight on everything that's going on. And also, working in perfect harmony, because it's nothing greater than men coming together in perfect harmony for a cause. And, we gained some great knowledge and information, and, that we're going to share, and keep sharing. And, we just keep continuing to build, because, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're trying to build something from the ground up that's going to help people. So just to have you guys, there with us and, supporting, it means a lot. And,
Absolutely.
we just, I know me, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. And, thanks again.
Absolutely. And me on my behalf also of co-founder of NBC, I just want to actually say that I want to show my token of appreciation sitting here amongst men of men, that just say, just happy to actually be here and strengthen up the alliances that we actually have going on and preparing for this war, and that we all actually are mentally, physically, financially, spiritually fit to go through the situation and continue to just conquer the whole scenario of actually getting back to the youth and getting everybody attached on one page and being able to be more productive in this society day in.
Amen. All right, you're listening to a Man in the House radio show here at HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. This is Deacon Clarence Haynes signing off. God bless. May the Lord be willing. We'll see you right back here next week. Deacon Webb.
Now, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Amen.
God bless.
All right.